And so it's very crucial to set objectives that are congruent and aligned with the highest values, because when you do, you don't require outside motivation. You're inspired from within.
I work with teens every day. I've worked with thousands of teenagers all over the country. And what I know to help teenagers love and believe in themselves and have that success-driven vision that so many adults have is the very first thing you have to do is be original. Be yourself. Don't conform. Don't transform. Find your own original gifts. You have them. You have so many. And lead with those.
Belief in yourself is the first step to anything great. If you don't believe you can do it, you're finished even before you get to the starting line. You see it all the time in grade school. The kids line up to run the 100-yard dash. They all start off pretty good, but as soon as one or two of those kids pulls ahead, you see a few in the running literally slow down and sometimes stop. That's because when those kids see someone pick up speed, they begin to doubt that they'll ever catch them. And their brain says, what's the use? And suddenly they believe it. Here. And everything slows down.
I started out in a life of welfare and poverty and became the 25th wealthiest person in America. That would be an extreme that most people can't even comprehend, let alone relate to. And it all started because I believed in my own possibilities.
Whatever we believe, we become.
I don't really think we know what we're capable of. There's incredible potential in all of us. And I mean in all of us, not some of us, all of us. If you find your passion and that energy wells up in you, and if you can dream and start to get committed to that dream and that vision, then you can be successful and far beyond what you ever thought you could.
It is okay to believe in yourself. Start now. Start today.
You are the greatest you that will ever be.
Vincenzo had set a goal. He began to see it powerfully and perfectly. It became real. He experienced it in his mind and in his heart. He was living it vividly as though it had already happened. This gave him the momentum to begin.
I think that the only way you can get to your goal is by having a clear vision. And I feel that that clear vision doesn't necessarily come from your head, but that it comes up from inside of you. That the more we access our gut feeling, the more that we access our core individuality and listen to what it is that's wanting to be said through us, then we have a clear vision of what we're about.
The problem is most people don't really have that clear vision of what success is for them because they've never felt like they were allowed to have that vision for themselves. They always felt like they had to live in to somebody else's idea of what success is.
I think one of the steps that people may not do quite properly is that first step of intention. So many times people's intentions are coming out of a feeling of obligation or I should. When I find that people really stop, which is a hard thing to do in our society, to stop, but it's the thing that is most required for us to stop and turn inward.
Someone asked me one day, if you could have anything that you wanted, if you could have your dream life, if it could look any way that you wanted it to look, what would it be? And I was stumped because I was so used to being good at responding to my difficult circumstances that I even honored myself for being able to make the best of a bad situation. So I would constantly have to wait for bad situations to come around in order to identify who I was and to feel my strength to be able to go out there and do something. And so when someone asked me, well, if you could just be on the front side of something like that and just have it be whatever you would want it to be, what would it be? And I couldn't answer the question. I thought, I've got some different kind of work to do.
The only way you can get a clear picture of where you're going and to understand what it is that you want out of life, you must silence the restless thoughts that are going through your mind. And you have to ask yourself, what do I want? How do I feel? And where do I want to go?
In the 1960s, President Kennedy suggested that NASA was going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. And NASA took the plan and they said, okay, what's success look like? Success looks like not man on the moon, but astronauts safely back on Earth. So they said, let's plan from there. So there's a group of scientists who looked forward to success and said, let's work backwards and put the plan in place. Now the problem most of us have is we don't have a clear vision of what success is.
I started thinking about the creative process of living your life as it relates to creating music, because I enjoy creating music and I always have. And it comes back, and I saw the parallel so clearly between how the process is the same. When I sit down to write a piece of music, it's generally born out of some inspiration. You know, I don't work under the rules that you have to write this type of piece of music, it's got to be 30 seconds and it's got to be this beats per minute. You know, I have full, because I do it for fun, you know, I have full creative control, so I work from inspiration, just as we should work from inspiration in our lives. That is what should guide us, that is what it should help us to create our vision, a feeling of inspiration, not someone else's sense of passion or their likes or interests, but our own.
I have a philosophy of life, and that is this. Achieving any type of goal in your life is 99% intention, 1% methodology. It's being crystal clear about what you want and the how, the methodology, will show up later.
When people talk of clarity, it often gets described as just writing down your goals. The most important element is often left out. That's finding your motivation. If you want to get to your goals quickly, you've got to have clarity on why you want it. What does it mean to you? Why do you need it in your life? And the stronger and more important the why, the more power you will have to pursue that goal. Finally, the opportunity came for Vincenzo to have his violin. The moment he saw it, he knew that he had to have it. A loving mother felt the same way. It was not as easy as it looked. But Vincenzo had made a decision and a commitment that he would learn to master this instrument no matter what.
Finding your clarity starts from first setting goals, not just thinking them, inking them, writing them down, having that vision board. Put those things on your board, the way you picture your life to be, the lifestyles you want.
It's okay to brainstorm it. Start with an idea, oh, I've always wanted to do this, and flesh it out. Really describe what you want your life to be. You may find that it evolves even as you write, and that's okay. Take the time to decide what you truly want, because it isn't until you do that that you're going to be able to stabilize any sort of vibration around it from a law of attraction point of view to attract that into reality.
When you're in the achievement process, what is your greatest moment? Some people think that it's when you're at the finish line, or at the top of the mountain peak, or when your bank account has finally reached that bulging, overflowing amount. If those are your goals, then those moments when you get there may be exciting, there's no doubt about that. But that isn't your greatest moment. Your greatest moment can be measured by three things that make it great. What moment will have the longest effect on your future life? What moment will carry the greatest future consequences? And which moment will have the farthest reaching impact on you and those around you? Your greatest moment, therefore, becomes the moment that you decide. Decision changes everything. As Vincenzo grew from a boy to a man, he never lost sight of the dream. Vincenzo worked and saved his money to pay for lessons for his violin.
He's doing it again. Thinking about everything except what he's supposed to be doing.